And Merry almost Christmas. Today we're going to make Christmas candies. I actually filmed this for you guys over the last couple days. So you will see like a change of shirt because I only did half of it one day and half the other. I kind of just wanted to enjoy it, and I'm going to kind of just voice over because I just had Christmas music playing. I was just trying to enjoy and get in the spirit of making our holiday candy that I only make once a year. Now before we jump into it real quick, about the budget, because it's been asked, did I stick to my budget? Again, the answer is yes. I did stick to my budget. So if you guys watched in November, I stocked up on a bunch of butter, a whole bunch of butter. So yes, I'm still using that, and I still have butter in my fridge from where I stocked up. On top of that, I used what I had already in my pantry, and I did what I did need. I bought in the shopping haul, the last shopping haul that I just showed you guys. If you watched the pantry freezer tours, you saw I already had the chocolate that I use for making my candies. Now I will tell you, these candies are amazing. Part of what makes them so amazing is using Merkin's chocolate. I'm not sponsored, I wish. It is the only kind of chocolates that I have used ever since I got into candy making when I was in my early 20s. And I tried every chocolate out there, and Merkin's was my favorite. It had the best taste, the best texture, the best melting consistency, and it had where it would stay when you would pick it up, it wouldn't melt in your fingers. It just was overall the perfect chocolate. So you can get that, I know, online. It is expensive. I'm not going to tell you it's not. Definitely chocolate chips will work though if you want to melt chocolate chips, or the chocolate discs that you find. Just know that when you dip them in stuff, they're not going to look as smooth as, say, using a really good quality chocolate like the Merkin's. That being said, let's jump into this, you guys. I made so many amazing treats. Here we're going to start off right now. So the first thing we're going to make is peanut brittle. And we want to make sure that we put 2 big pans on top of a cooling rack because it gets very hot. Then I'm just spraying it down so that the peanut brittle doesn't stick. You want to have everything ready before starting the peanut brittle because you really can't stop until you pour it. Now as you see, I have this old recipe that I use, but I actually make it 4 times the amount. So I'm going to give you the original recipe, so it won't make quite as much. But if you love it like we do, then feel free to make it 4 times the amount. We're going to start with a half a cup of light corn syrup. Now, of course, I'm going to be using 2 cups. Then to that, after we get that in our big pot, we're going to be adding a half a cup of water. And then we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. And we are going to be cooking this into a heavy saucepan. And we want to boil it until it starts to thicken. I'd say you want it to be pretty much like a softball stage. The recipe just says till it starts to thicken over high heat. And then we're going to add in our raw Spanish peanuts. You want raw peanuts for this, not like cooked or cocktail peanuts. And you're going to add 1 cup of that. Then you are going to cook your peanuts until there is no more, until they smell cooked. That's literally the instructions. So once they smell done, you're going to continue to cook. Now you want to stir this constantly or they will burn. And you're going to continue to cook until it turns into like a straw color, a very pale yellow. Then you know it's time to remove it from the heat. So I'm kind of tipping it to the light so I can see what kind of color I'm starting to get. So once that's done, you're going to set it aside and pull it off the heat. You're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, a half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, and you're going to stir that together until the butter melts. Once you have your butter melted, then you're going to add a teaspoon of baking soda. But you use a big pan because this actually foams up and it kind of grows. So you don't want it to overflow and you don't want to burn yourself either. So you're going to stir that. Once it's nice and foamy, you're going to take it over to your pan. And you can kind of see it starting to foam up here. You're going to take it over to your pan and pour it on your cookie sheet until it cools slightly. As you can see, it's really starting to get foamy. Be very careful doing this. This is where it gets very hot, and I even burnt my arm doing it. And Charles had to help me because it just gets so hot. And then once it starts to cool off some, you just want to take 2 forks and just kind of pull it and stretch it just to spread it out on your cookie sheet. And then once it dries completely and cools completely, then you just break it off into pieces, and it is the best peanut brittle. If you make this, you will not regret it. Alright, next we are making peanut butter fudge. This is the way my family has made it for as long as I can remember. Let me find it for you. This is from a 1979 newspaper. So, this remarkable peanut butter fudge. This is how we've been making it for, like I said, as long as I can remember. It is the best fudge ever. Okay, we're going to start with 1 can of evaporated milk. Just evaporated milk. 4 cups of sugar. This is not healthy, it's fudge, so you know there is a lot of sugar. And 1 cup of butter, so 2 sticks. Okay, then with the wooden spoon, I'm just going to stir this all together. And we're going to bring this to a softball stage. Okay, and now I'm going to check this for, see if it's at softball stage yet. I just have some ice water, and yeah, that's definitely at softball stage. Okay, so now I'm going to remove this from the heat. Move you guys up here. And we're going to stir in a whole jar here of marshmallow cream. It's one of the small jars though. I'm going to stir that in. Also a cup of peanut butter. And a little bit of vanilla. And this is all going to get stirred in together. Okay. Now is the hard part. We just stir and stir and stir and stir for probably about 20 minutes. And I just kind of hand it off to kids, Charles, everybody takes a turn, just kind of stirring the fudge. Once it's not shiny anymore, and it does, it takes about 20 minutes, then we put it in a dish and put it into the fridge to finish setting up. My first volunteer to stir the fudge.
Yeah, I can't even sneak it as we go because it's too hot.
It is too hot. Number one. You can see it's still real shiny. Because it takes about 20 minutes to make all the shine go away.
I will say this is a great nonstick pan.
It is. Number two. It's fudge time.
Stir it in circles. You got it.
I know, but it's like not sticking to the bottom.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't? That's so weird. It is. Hi.
And now it's Brooke's turn.
Yep. It's getting very
hard to
fudgy.
stir.
Yeah. Turning into fudge. That's why I went first.
Okay, now we're going to move into Buckeyes. For Buckeyes, you just need butter. These are the way I grew up with Buckeyes. I know some people make them with like Rice Krispies and stuff in it, but here in Ohio, that's just not how it is. These are the Buckeyes. It is just butter and peanut butter. Vanilla. And powdered sugar. Now, you can stir this if you want with a spoon. I honestly find the easiest way is to just get in with your hands. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just getting in here. I'm going to mix it all up with my hands. And then once you get it like this, I'm just going to roll some into balls like that and put them on a cookie sheet or some kind of dish. I just have mine lined with this little non-stick thing because these are going to go in the freezer, and you don't want them great big, but not great small either. Not super tiny. We're going to put these though in the freezer so that they can get good and hard before we dip them in chocolate. This is any kind of Buckeyes I ever grew up eating, that I ever knew anybody here to make. This is what they are. freezer now. Okay, and now onto the fudge. That looks divine. I'm just gonna put it in this dish here and put it in the fridge to set up. All right, now this is going in the fridge. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do, this is actually my peppermint candy recipe. So the first thing I'm gonna do is line a parchment paper or a cookie sheet with some parchment paper, because this needs to sit and air dry for hours. So this will be one of the last things that I actually dip in chocolate, one of the first things I wanna make. And to make homemade peppermint patties, truly so easy, and they taste like York peppermint patties, I kid you not. You're just gonna do some sweetened condensed milk, however much you want. I mean, it's just this. It really doesn't matter. The more you use, the bigger batch. It's just however big a batch you want. And then to that, we're just gonna mix in powdered sugar. Now the recipe that I wrote down a million years ago is 3/4 cup of condensed milk with 4 cups of powdered sugar. But you guys, that makes a ton. So just however you want to do it. And then peppermint oil, or you could use peppermint extract, whatever it is that you have or can get your hands on. This is a food grade peppermint oil. And you want a lot in. I mean, a good amount, because you want it to be a strong, strong peppermint taste. You want it to be like a peppermint patty. Like if you were to bite into a York peppermint patty, you want that strong taste. And if you wanted, you could also put candy cane bits in here. This is one I'm gonna have to get in with my hands too. Might need a little bit more condensed milk. Just a little. This is one you definitely want to taste and make sure that you got this strong enough. Still really just a little bit too sticky. So now I'm gonna add a little bit more powdered sugar, but I'm gonna do this with my hands. And I know this doesn't look like a lot, but you just need a little coin size amount for your filling. So it ends up being a lot more than you think it would be. We'll just kind of knead in the powdered sugar. Then I'm just going to take a small size, roll it into a ball, and put it on here. Then I'm going to come through and I'm going to flatten them all a little bit. nonstick. I'm gonna push it over top, and I'm just gonna gently push these down and flatten them out a little bit with my hands. So that they look like that. If you can see, I'm just gonna do it not too hard. You want them to have some, you know, shape to them, but you want them to be able to dip and be in a disc shape. Alright, now these are ready to go sit on the table for a few hours. Then we'll flip them and again let them sit until we're ready to dip. Next we're going to make the filling for the chocolate covered cherries. For that, you're going to start with some butter, a stick of butter. Add in some vanilla. And I had a half a cup of corn syrup. Then you add a pound or a box of powdered sugar, or I buy these 2-pound bags, so a half a bag. That's it. This is a get in with your hands kind of deal. I just think mixing so much of it is so much easier if you just do it with your hands. Now, if you need to add a little bit more corn syrup, you can. This is going to turn into a dough. We're going to wrap our maraschino cherries in this dough. It's already turning into beautiful dough. Then when we're done wrapping that, this is going to go in the freezer. And when we dip it in chocolate, after it sits for a few days, it will turn gooey on the inside, just like a chocolate covered cherry is supposed to be gooey. If you eat it right away, it's going to be creamy on the inside and not gooey. That you have to let it just sit for a few days to get gooey. Okay, so that is pretty perfect. So now we got to get out our cherries. You're also going to need a pan that you line. This is like a reusable parchment paper. So I've drained the liquid. Now I'm just going to use this towel to just dry these. This one has like a spot on it. Pick that off. And I'm just going to drain them in this towel, or dry them off in this clean towel that now needs washed. Now it is tempting to take a huge bunch of this and wrap it around because it can go faster and easier that way. That is not right. Do not do that. I have a little bit of water that I can just kind of dip my fingers in. You'll see why here soon. So you just want to pinch off a little piece of this and kind of flatten it. And then you're going to wrap your cherry around in it. And then I just kind of roll it in my hands so that my cherry is completely covered in it. That is your gooey center. That is very important. We're gonna just do that and fill this up. But you see it's already getting sticky because you're picking up these cherries that are sticky. But if you wet your fingers, it helps not stick as bad. Again, you don't need much. It's really just a small amount. Wrap it and roll it.
Ding dong, ding, them bells are playing loud and clear. Dong, ding dong, there's...
Okay, these are going out into the freezer. Now we're going to make the orange cream. And all I'm doing is the same thing. I'm just going to add a little bit more powdered sugar, a little bit more of the butter. I'm just doing a half a stick that time. A little bit more corn syrup. Just like I did before. However, the secret ingredient is to use some unsweetened orange Kool-Aid packet. And that gives it this tangy orange flavor. I did this to try and color my dough many years ago and discovered that it was like the perfect flavor. And everybody says, what did you use to make this amazing orange flavor? Again, the secret is just unsweetened orange Kool-Aid. So get in with your hands, mix that all up. I'm telling you, you want to make this. You dip it in white chocolate or dip it in milk chocolate. Just roll it into balls, and then we're going to pop that in the freezer as well until we're ready to dip. Alright, and now we're going to move on to our caramel sauce. We're going to add 1 cup of light corn syrup. This caramel tastes so good. You could dip apples in it. It is just the best caramel. You're going to do a 1/4 cup of water, a cup of sugar, and then we're going to stir that and cook that until it starts to come to a boil. And once it starts to come to a boil, we're going to add in a pinch of baking soda. Then we're going to add in a 1/2 a stick of butter and 1/2 a can or 6 ounces of evaporated milk. But you want to add the milk very slowly to try not to let the liquid stop boiling. Once you've got that all mixed in, you're going to cook it until it is at 242 degrees Fahrenheit or a firm ball stage. And just continuously stir, do not stop stirring or it will burn. And again, very slowly with the milk, and just take your time with it.
Jingle them bells and frolic. Oh, by gosh, some stolly. Eggnog, gin and tonic make Yuletide gay and jolly. Same procedure every year, I just can't get enough. I drink till Rudolph reappears, a toast to him, that red-nosed dear. Jingle them bells and frolic, it's the best day of the year. Come fly with me now, Rudy. I'm loaded. count the hours and minutes till the last week of December. For me the Christmas spirits flow as early as September.
Okay, so here is the caramel now. If you look at that, that is just so beautiful. I'm going to use my little wooden spoon here though, so that I can really just kind of dip it. And I'm just going to put some on. If your caramel gets too hard to work with because it gets too cool, then all you have to do is just heat it back up on the stove just a little bit so that you can work with it again. Takes a few minutes. Now I can lift this up and it's still a little bit hot. I'm going to probably pull those back away. That's a good sized turtle. And I just want to kind of move them over here so that way I can reuse these nuts. Put them all back together. If they look too big, just kind of squish them. Remember, they're going to be dipped in chocolate, but you want them to have some like little bits sticking out because that kind of gives it that turtle look that's you want. So now these are just going to go sit until I'm ready to dip them, and then they'll be nice and firm and ready to go. Okay, and now we're in here at the table. It is time to flip these peppermint patties. So I'm just very carefully taking them off and I'm flipping them over because the underside is now soft and gooey, but the top is getting hard. I'm going to flip them each one over. Some flip very easy. Some are still sticking. If they're still sticking too bad, then you can just leave them a little longer before you flip them. I think I am actually. Some of them are just sticking too bad. Some are flipping really easy, like that, and some are sticking really bad. So I think if they're ready to flip, I'll flip them real quick. If they're not, I'll just wait a little while longer. That's just too bad. That's okay. They can take their time drying because we still got a whole lot to do. Okay, so I'm going to start off making a double boiler. So I'm going to boil this water, get it nice and hot. And I'm going to just set it here on top of this hot water, and that will help me melt my chocolate. And then I also have this bigger bowl as well. And this one keeps it definitely up and out of the water. This one gets it down a little bit further. So I'll probably use this bigger bowl. But let's go on and let this get to boiling first. And then we'll melt chocolate. I'm going to start off with white chocolate because I only have a tiny bit. And I want to get some of that orange that I made into this white chocolate. And what's left, I will put the orange in milk chocolate. Okay, next we are going to dip the chocolate covered cherries.
Christmas lights are all around. I can see them now. It's like they spell your name. It's insane. Now we're back here once again. Holidays and cheer. But now I got my eye set on you. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I've been trying to tell you in every way. Yeah, I've been trying to show you, but something.
Okay, next I'm going to be dipping in these amazing, amazing turtles. The mints are going last because they will make this chocolate taste of mint. So the turtles, though, are second to last because they leave some nuts in the chocolate as well. So I'm going to kind of skim out the nuts after I'm done with the turtles, and then I'll do the mint flavor next. But, of course, I need a little bit more chocolate.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light, while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas.
so here is all the candy making that I just did over the last 2 days. I've started putting gifts together. Like this is for Charles's boss. My aunts, each one a little sampler box. Then I'm working on my brother's box. This is actually what we will set out along with a bowl with peanut brittle in it on Christmas Eve. And then more to divvy up between gifts. So that is a lot of candy. And it is so, so good. I hope you guys make some of these. Alright you guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys try some of these candies because they really are so amazing. And I hope all of you have a fabulous, wonderful Merry Christmas if I don't see you. Stay warm. We're having this Arctic blast come. And hopefully though, I will be back tomorrow. I'm planning on filming a full day of budget-friendly meals, what we're eating on a tight budget, and share that with you guys. So hopefully I can get that done tomorrow. All right, everybody, I will see you later. Bye. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.